Embark on a journey of resilience and discovery with the Back to Life podcast. Hosted by Danny Bader, this series delves into the transformative stories of individuals who have faced and overcome life's challenges. From moments of darkness to rays of hope, each episode explores the path to personal growth and fulfillment. Tune in and unlock the secrets to living a life of resilience and purpose on Back to Life.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to our Back to Life podcast. This is going to be a solo episode. I just came from breakfast with a new friend of mine, and he and I were talking, and he had just recently grabbed one of my most recent books, A Radical Reverence for Your Life. And he was just saying how much he enjoyed it and how much it really was forcing him to slow down and think about how he had lived right this past year and how he wanted to live in that future going forward. So I thought to myself, it might be a nice little solo episode here where I talk to you about the principles that help us live with a more radical reverence for your life. And then I'll give you some questions that prompt you to reflect on where you've been and, more importantly, where you're going. And here's the thing with this, it's kind of timeless. Most times towards December, January, we might say it's a great time to have an exercise like this. But when you think about it, you can do this once a month. You can do this every quarter. You can do it at mid-year. You can do it at the end of the year. It's always good for us to just slow down and say, hey, where have I been? And reflect on how you're thinking and what you're doing and the vision that you're looking to create. And then again, as I said, more importantly, going forward. So I wrote A Radical Reverence for Your Life right around when I was turning 60 years old, because I thought to myself, I'd lost a lot of really, really good friends. And they were aged 56 to 63. And it just got me to really slow down and think about how had I lived my life to this point and how did I want to live? And here's the thing. And this really came out of an accident that I had many years ago. My friend and I were electrocuted. We lost him that day. We lost me for a few minutes, and then I came back to life. And it helped me realize this. You will experience more joy, fulfillment, and resilience in your life when you hold the awareness that it's not going to last forever. And when I talk about this in my keynotes, you can see people in the front row, their faces like, oh, you want me to think about dying? This is going to be a great motivational speech. And I laugh and I say, yes, I don't want you to fixate on it. I want you to contemplate it from time to time, because then when you realize that you're not going to be here forever, that should be a very empowering and inspiring thought to get you focused and living with intention. So what does a radical reverence for life mean? Well, I've come to understand that there's 3 levels of life in which we can engage. There's the lowest level called rock bottom, where it's a massive disconnection from the gift of life, the potential of life, the possibility of life. It's a disconnect from your spirit. It's rock bottom. There's despair. There's hopelessness. There's the valley of the victim, where you don't own what's happening to you, the struggle and the challenge and the setback. And you just don't see any path forward. It's a very, very dark place. And then in the middle, where most people exist, is what I call the functional fog. You know, we're kind of in a fog, yet we're still functioning. We're going through the motions. We're caught up in the white noise of life. There's a little bit of awareness and a little bit of mindfulness, but the pace of life and the noise of life just kind of blocks that out. We lack that deeper spiritual connection to life. And then at the highest level, where I want to operate from, and where probably all of you want to operate from, is what I call a radical reverence for your life. It's where you're living with a lot of passion, a lot of purpose, a lot of resilience, a lot of presence, and you embrace all of life. You embrace the good times, and you also embrace the struggles and the setbacks, because you know in the struggles and the setbacks, that's the foundation for your growth. That's the foundation for you to come out a whole lot stronger. And I've come to understand there are 7 very powerful principles that we can apply that help us live more with a radical reverence for your life. Radical means very different from the usual or the traditional. And reverence is a deep respect, a love, and awe. So when you think about radical, very different, it's very different from the functional fog, because that's just where everybody's going through the motions. The thing about these 7 principles that I know is true is they will keep you up more living with a radical reverence for your life. And when life throws you the curveball and the challenges and the tragedies, these principles, the application of these principles will help to move you back to that place of passion and purpose and resilience. The first one is be more spirit. And for me, there is an energy inside of all of us. You've got your heart, your brain, and your lungs. They contribute to your body going. And then you've got your energy, your spirit, which they call the human spirit, which I say is hardly human. It's your fourth energy. It's what truly makes your body go. You've got your heart, brain, and lungs. The spirit makes your body go. I know because mine left my body and then came back in, and I stopped and then I started again. So think to yourself over the past months or years, how have you connected with your spirit? Here's some prompting questions for you. When life got loud, did I make space to be still and connect with my spirit? How often did I listen to the voice of peace within me, the fourth energy? And when fear showed up this year, did I respond with faith? So think about those things. The thing with your spirit is it only wants what's best for you. So it wants you to go out and create a big, fulfilling, resilient life. And it wants you to move through those challenges and those struggles. So I want you to write these questions down a little bit, or you can go on my website and email me and I can send them to you. But really reflect on these. The second principle of living with a radical reverence for your life is, did I live this year in alignment with what matters to me most? And that principle is called live your truth. You know, when our oldest son, Luke, a beautiful young man, had a conversation with me years ago, and we talked about, he told me that he was gay and he was coming out. And we had a conversation that was built on a strong foundation of love, a lot of emotion, a lot of tears, as you can imagine. And while you think that's a story of Luke coming out as a gay young man, and it was, and it's also of him living his truth. That's his mantra. And that's why I titled this chapter it. Because Luke was coming out to get more in alignment with basic values of his: authenticity, integrity, and truth. They're values of him. That's how he lives. And when he was out of alignment with them, he said, man, Dad, life was rough. So it's all about living your truth. And the first question I'll repeat for you again: did I live this year in alignment with what matters to me most? Did I live with my values? Where did I shrink? Did I hide? Did I edit myself? Right? And why? Think about that. And then here's the other one. When did I feel most fully myself this year? And when you answer that question, think about what was going on with you. How were you thinking? What actions were you living? I'm sure they were connected to your values. Who was around? Who were you hanging out with? Real powerful questions. Then one that's really near and dear to my heart is this, very simple. Love your people fiercely. Love them fiercely and let them love you. So here's some questions for you. Who did I love well, not just in words, but also through actions and my presence? Who supported me, and did I let them know what they mean to me? Did I actually look them in the eye and say, I love you and I love having you in my life? I don't know about you. I know I need to do that more and more. Who still needs my forgiveness or my gratitude for them being in my life? You know, the greatest example I ever saw of this was I was doing a wish for a young sick child, you know, those wish granting organizations. And he had $2,200 to spend. And our first stop was in Dick's Sporting Goods store. And he had a twin brother and a younger sister. And his mom was going through a brutal divorce, you know, and he's battling cancer at 12 years of age. And we go into Dick's Sporting Goods store. And the first thing he does is says to his brother and sister, go pick out a pair of sneakers and I'm going to buy them for you. So the first money he spends is on somebody else. Then he's not spending any of his money. And I get to the bottom of it when I ask his mom, and she said, well, he came to me in the kitchen this morning and I said to him, are you excited? And he said, yes, I am, Mom, but this is a lot of money and I want to make sure that you're okay. I was like, Danny Bader, hang on, because there's a lesson here for you. So love your people fiercely and let them love you. One of the greatest definitions I've heard of love is this: love is the condition in which the happiness of another person is essential to your own. A guy by the name of Robert Heinlein. I'll give it to you one more time. Love is the condition in which the happiness, the joy, the well-being, the resilience of another person is essential to your own. The fourth one, trust. You are a resilient human being. Too often we get stuck in tragedy and struggles and setbacks and challenges. And we just in our mind, sometimes we say, oh, I hope I can deal with this. I don't know how I can deal with this. I hope I can get through it. Don't hope. Hope is to want something to happen. Trust is a firm belief in the reliability of someone or something. So trust in yourself and trust in that spirit, that divine essence, that intangible essence and innate essence inside of you that wants what's good for you. So here's a few questions to consider. What challenge tested me this year, and what strength did it reveal in you? When I fell, did I give myself grace to get back up? Did I realize that falling and moving towards rock bottom, or perhaps setting up residence in rock bottom, did I realize that that's part of life? And did I then give myself the grace to say, okay, but let's get back at it right now? And here's one: how can I honor my resilience going forward? So think about some of those questions. Listen, you're going to get knocked down by life. It's just part of being human. We've got to do the work ahead of time so that when that knockdown comes, we can trust that we're resilient, and we can trust that with ourselves and with the people who love us, we can get through it. Connected very much to that is this: embrace the struggle. You can't resist. You can't go into the valley of the victim where you're in that victim mindset that says, I can't believe this is happening to me. This is not fair. I don't deserve this. All those things. The reality of it is that we've got to embrace the struggle. And here's some questions for you to consider. What pain or setbacks this year became an opportunity for your growth? Did I resist anything that was trying to teach me and support my evolution to a better, stronger version of myself? And what wisdom did my struggles this year give me? How are you more wise through your struggles? Think about those. Maybe get the pen out, the paper, and think about them. The sixth one, which is certainly, when I think about it, I think about all the conversations with my beautiful brother-in-law, Dr. Bobby Sinnott, who passed away a number of years ago from ALS. We would always talk about always trying to be better. And, he and I would have the discussion about try, and I would always say work to be better. Always do the work to be better. And he certainly committed to that, even as he battled that brutal disease. So here's some questions for you as you continue to be a better version of yourself. How did I evolve this year mentally, emotionally, and spiritually? And to evolve is to undergo continuous and gradual change and growth. And notice I say gradual because as you work to get better, right, there's three things that I've come to understand. It's not the strongest or the smartest. It's the people committed to their growth and the people that know that growth comes through struggle. The other thing, number two, is this: sometimes your growth takes some time. I mean, as I moved through that tragedy that I had, I think about it. I died in 92. I got married in 93. We had Luke in 94. I don't remember 1995. We had our second child, Joey, in 1996. And then I kind of came out of rock bottom into this functional fog. I had more of awareness. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm in a new house. We have a new dog. And I have these two beautiful little dudes calling me daddy. I'm like, what's happening? I mean, a lot of times, sometimes in that struggle, man, you got to fight through it, and you have to give it some time. And that really is the key to all of this. Always work to be better. Here's some questions for you. How did I evolve this year mentally, emotionally, or spiritually? What habit, belief, or pattern did I outgrow? One that I really worked on for many, many years is I had this belief after the accident that I don't deserve to be happy. I don't deserve to be happy. And I think I've outgrown that with a lot of work. And here's the other one. Who am I becoming because of the work that I am doing? Really want you to think about, who are you becoming now? Maybe just close your eyes right now as you're listening to this for a moment and just think to yourself, who am I now that I was not 6 months ago or a year? And then think into that future right now. Who do I want to become? Who do I want to become? Right? So we always work to evolve and to be better, right? You got to commit to it. You got to understand that sometimes your evolution takes some time. And number 3, you got to realize that your evolution comes from connecting with your spirit. They're the 3 keys around our evolution. And a lot of what my work and my message is based on is number 7, contemplate your mortality. Contemplate the fact that you are not going to be here forever. And don't let that put a frown on your face. Don't let that be a sad, morbid, depressing thought. Let it be very much an inspiring thought that gets you very present and empowers you and brings you clarity and focus and intention that says, yeah, someday I'm not going to be here. And in all likelihood, I've got a lot of days ahead of me. So what do I really need to focus on for me and for my people? And here's some questions for you there. If this had been my last year, would I be proud of how I lived it? Man, that's a good one. That gets me all the time. Did I count my days by the calendar, or did I count my days differently, by intention and purpose and gratitude and resilience and love? And what do I want the next chapter of my life to say about me? So if I were you, I would strongly encourage you, I do strongly encourage you, think about these questions. Play this back, email me through the website if you want some of these, because it really does come down to how can we live with this radical reverence, right? This deep respect, the love, this awe of this journey called life. Because it's been right now over 12,000 days since I had that wake-up call where 8,000 volts of electricity came down a metal ladder and went out my feet and my socks and my boots. And that was the foundation for me moving towards understanding that we've got to have a deeper appreciation for life. And we want to live with this radical reverence. But here's the thing for you. You don't need, you don't need a tragedy. We grow out of tragedy or curiosity. You don't need a tragedy to have this wake-up call. It can happen anytime. All you need really is a moment. Maybe just a moment like this, where that little voice inside of you, probably coming from your spirit, that little voice says, you know what? It's time. It is time. And then while my number of living this way is over 12,000, your number becomes 1. It's day 1. So live it, right? Love your people more fiercely. Know that you're a resilient person. Connect with your spirit. Think about these principles of living with a radical reverence for your life. And when you do, trust me, you will count your days differently. You will not count them according to the days on the calendar. You will count them by the impact that you have made, by the gratitude and love that you feel, and by the courage and trust that you have, knowing that whatever life throws at you, you'll be able to handle it and you will be able to move through it. So, love you, always wishing you all the best, and wishing that you live with a radical reverence for your life and you count your days differently. Peace.